especially junior developers who are so fearful of shipping anything that could be seen as anywhere imperfect, but then being slow about it. How did you manage that culture, and how do you hire for that?
Well, I think like if they're juniors, you don't hire for that, right? They come out of university with the expectation, or with not the expectation, but the experience that they've worked on a project for 6 months and then they do a big presentation, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not this constant shipping. So it's interesting because we have a lot of the junior guys that are perhaps very sensitive about whether people will judge them on their code or whatever the case happens to be. So they'll work on something for 6 weeks and not even push it into, say, a staging environment for the testers and people to give them feedback on. So it's just something that you have the conversation with them and say, hey, it's no big deal if you put it out there and it's not great. That's okay. We'll give you feedback. We'll improve it. But if you don't put it out there, like, you're still going to get the same feedback. It's just that it's going to be 3 months down the track because we haven't seen it yet. It's better to get that feedback early, and make those mistakes and then fix it, right? So it's just a learning process, and it probably takes someone that's straight out of university. It takes them probably a year before they can really deliver too much that's useful, and so you kind of just pay for that first year to almost as a training exercise, and then probably from the second year onwards they tend to start to really produce some good stuff. But yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about the dearth of juniors in programming, right? Where AI is taking over some of that role. How do you look at that from a practical point of view, in how is this working at Fieldmagic?
Yeah, well, you always need the senior guys, like you need senior developers and architects to make sure that you design a product that's going to scale and going to do the right thing longer term, right? I don't think AI, like, it can make recommendations and things like that, but really that critical thinking of okay, if we design it with these indexes and do that and use that technology stack, we know that that's going to scale versus here's a bunch of code that is kind of achieves the outcome but isn't going to scale. So you always need those senior developers. So if you don't invest in those juniors, you're never going to get the seniors, and you only so I think in this situation, I think junior developers are still really great because you need them to come through the system. But AI as a tool to help them get over their roadblocks is an amazing tool set to have for them, as long as they don't just always rely on throwing it into AI and hoping it gets the right answer. They still need to understand it and that sort of thing. I often have the conversation mostly with juniors, but I'm very, very clear with my team that if you need all your tools, you need your debuggers, and you need to be able to step through every line of code. You need to inspect what's going on. You can't just assume the outcome means that it's doing the right thing and it's doing it in an efficient way. So I've had common situations where I've met with juniors and I've said, okay, well, load up the debugger, step through, stop at that line of code, and I want to see what's happening, right? And they'll look at you blankly, and the reality is that they've never even turned on a debugger. They don't know how, right? So it's a very clear policy with us is you need to have your debuggers, all your tools. You need to be able to inspect all the code, because without that, with complex code, you really can't understand what's going on, right? So they understand that now, and they are much, much better able to understand the platform that they're building if they can really drill into the detail, which is what they need.
So no matter how much AI you use, you're still going to be responsible for the result, right?
Yeah, and AI is amazing. I even when ChatGPT was first coming out, I had some strong debates with my senior developers who refused to use AI, and I was like, and I was like, man, it's a great tool. This thing you're delivering in 5 days, you'll deliver it in 2. Like it's just use the tool, just don't fully rely on it. You still need to be a developer, right? So it's finding that balance more than anything.